All right, here we go. Today we are doing more algebraic proofs. And so we are using our algebraic properties that we talked about yesterday, where we're adding the same things to both sides or subtracting the same thing from both sides, all those algebraic properties to make algebraic proofs, which is a good place to start for proofs. I definitely like it a lot. And what we talked about yesterday was we have a two-column proof that on the left column is all of our statements, and then the right column is all of our reasons for each thing. The first step is always what is given. And so you can see that first thing is given, 6x plus 7 equals 8x minus 17. And the reason always is that it's given. All right? If it was given to you, the reason is that it was given. It is absolutely true to begin with. All right, now, you'll notice if you look from step 1 to 2, what is changing and what is staying the same? The x disappeared. So, yeah, how did it disappear? They must have subtracted, yeah. And so you'll notice if I were to write in that intermediate step, you can see that we are subtracting 6x from both sides, and that's how we get to the next step. So that intermediate step is my reason we are using the subtraction property of equality. And you can totally abbreviate like I just did, subtraction property of equality. And maybe this is helpful, I think it is, to write in that intermediate step and say, oh, we were subtracting 6 from both sides. So that's how we arrived at this conclusion.
Do we have to put
equality? Subtraction property is fine. Yeah. What is that? Oh, it's like a spider. Okay, that's so funny. All right. All right. Then, Clayton, what happened next? To go from step 2 to 3, what do we do? Don't listen, they're lying to you.
What? I know you add 7. You add 17 to 7.
Yes. Okay. All right. So yeah, you finally got there. We the 2x stayed the same, so we had to get rid of the 17. So we added 17 to both sides, and that's how we turned into the 24. All right. So what reason? Addition property of equality. Addition property of equality. All right. Now, how do we go from step 3 to 4? Divided by 2. Division property of equality. Absolutely. Now, you'll notice this is an interesting step here. You'll notice that step 4, they have 12 equals x, but we are trying to prove that x equals 12. Our job when we prove things is to be perfectly exacting. It's really kind of annoying how exacting we have to be when we do proofs. These are not identical. So there's one more step where we had to spin it around. What property allows us to spin something around the equal sign? The symmetric property. All right, the symmetric property allows us to spin something around an equal sign or a congruent sign. So if you're thinking we had to spin it around, that's symmetric, okay? They both start with S. Symmetry is symmetric, and spin it, symmetric. Okay, good. Next. So again, the given statement is exactly what they gave us here, and our reason is that it's given. The first step is always given. Always. Then what do we do to get to step 2? Distribute. That's an easy one. We can see clearly we went from negative 7 times x to negative 7x. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. So we did distributive property. Distributive property. All right, then in step 2 to step 3, you'll notice the negative 14 stays the same, but this negative 3x is the difference. Why? How did it become different? Combining like terms. Very good. We had a negative 7x and a positive 4x, and that gave us the negative 3. And so that was combined like terms, and that is a fine reason. Combining like terms. And also, it would just be fine to simplify as well. Either of those things are perfectly acceptable reasons. Okay, from step 3 to 4, God bless you, what did we do? How did we get this negative 15x? Subtraction. They took the negative 12x and subtracted it from both sides. So negative 3x and negative 12x is how we get that negative 15. That is the subtraction property of equality. All right, then looking at step 5, what did they have to do to get the negative 10? Addition. Very good. They added 14 to both sides. That would be, again, the addition property of equality. All right, and the very, very last step. Divide. Yeah, they divided both things by negative 15, and that 10 over 15 reduces to 2/3. So that is the division property of equality. And so again, it's important that you understand how these things work. It's the intermediate step that is the justification for the next line down. So it's really, can get messy if you're not very careful. So keep that in mind. I think it's helpful to be like, hey, that's that. All right. Okay, questions so far? It's pretty easy, huh? Great. So let's look at number 6 here. What is our first statement going to be?
3x plus 1 equals negative 14.
Good. 3x plus 1 equals negative 14. What's our first reason? Given. Always, always. All right. Then, step 2, what are we going to do? We're going to subtract 1 from each side. So that would be the subtraction property of equality. I sort of like to write my reason first because that is the first thing I have to think. What am I doing? I'm going to subtract. So that gives me 3x equals negative 15. All right. And then our third step, what are we going to do to get x by itself? Divide. Yeah, divide. We're going to use the division property of equality. We're going to divide both sides by 3. And so we get x equals negative 5. And do our proof statements match? Yeah. So again, it's really important that you double check. Am I exactly how they want me to be? I'm not spun around, right? So you have to be really, really exact there. And again, all these little intermediate steps that we're pretty used to writing, they're almost invisible, okay? They are our reasons, though. Did we have to use every single box here, every single line? No, we did not. So this was perfectly fine. All right. Again, first thing, step number 1. 2 times the quantity x minus 9 equals negative 10. Do you have to write the first thing, the given statement first? Yes. Yes, you do. If you skip that step, you just lost the easiest points you could earn, right? Okay. What's reason number 1? Given. Very good. All right, then what are we going to do? Distribute. So it's kind of nice. I wish they would write the reasons first because that's how it works. What are we going to do? We're going to distribute. So then we write the result down. We get a 2x minus 18 equals negative 10. Then what are we going to do? I heard 2 different things, did I? Add? Okay. Addition property of equality. We are going to add 18 to both sides. That would be the addition property of equality. So that means my 2x is alone, and negative 10 and a positive 18 is? 8 is the winner. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to do?
Division.
Division property. Good. All right, so step number 4, we divide by 2 and we get x equals 4. Does our proof statement and our final statement match? Yes, it does. Then we did it totally correctly. Okay? Super easy. Any questions so far? Yeah.
Would you like, if the given statement does not prove like the answer, would we just say it's false?
So, for your purposes, it never should do that. So there was a typo on the assignment yesterday, from the source that I stole that from. They had a typo, but all of these proofs you should be able to prove. Yeah, and so they should all be accurate. But this is math. This is how, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, everything was done. That you had to prove how we know this is to be true. But these are very specific proofs, whereas our proofs that we've been proving for hundreds and hundreds of years are like, how do we prove that the distance between me and you is infinite? Like, it's weird proofs like that. It's kind of crazy. So anyway, here we go. Step number 1 is we have 5y minus 1 divided by 2 equals 7, and that is our given. All right, for all the money in the world, what are you going to do next? Cash, what are you thinking?
Multiply both sides by 2.
That is a great thing to do. We are going to multiplication property of equality. We are going to, right now, if you read this out loud, it says 5y minus 1 divided by 2, all divided by 2. How do you undo divide by 2? You multiply. You would multiply both sides, again, as long as you do it to both sides, times by 2 and divide by 2 undo one another, all right? They are inverse operations. And then the result is we have 5y minus 1 is equal to 14. And so that was perfect. Then what is our next step? What is the next thing we're going to do? Addition property. Perfect, the addition property. So because we want to add 1 to both sides, so we would add the 1 to both sides, and that would result in 5y equals 15. And then what do? Divide. Division property of equality. Division poop. That's what I wrote. Division poop. Yeah. All right. So we would divide both sides by 5, and we get y equals 3. Do our proof statements match exactly? Yes, they do. Okay. Let's skip down to number 10, because I feel like you're doing great. Do you feel like you're doing pretty great? Yeah? Okay, great. I like to hear it. Okay, so we have a negative 8 times the quantity w plus 1 is equal to negative 5 times the quantity w plus 10. And that is, what's our first reason? Given. Okay. Then what is the first thing we need to do? Distribute. Again, that is our reason. Distribute. We have a couple of things to distribute in this case. And what is our result when we distribute? Negative 8w minus 8 is equal to and minus 50. Negative 5 times 10 is negative 50. All right. All righty. Then what is the next thing you want to do? Add the 5w to both sides? Sure. We are going to use the addition property. We're going to add 5w to both sides. I can squeeze that in there. Oh. Sorry. You ever like inhale, like it feels like you inhaled a bug? That spider came back to bite me, huh? Choke me. Interesting. Maybe. All right, we have negative 8Ws and positive 5Ws. Who wins? The negatives by 3. So negative 3W minus 8 is equal to negative 50. And then what would you do next? Addition property again, because we want to move the 8, so we would add 8 to both sides, and that results in negative 3W equals negative 42. Be very careful. We have negatives and we have positives. The negatives are going to win by 42. All right, and then what's the last step? Division property of equality, because we would divide both sides by negative 3, which is going to give us W is equal to, what's negative divided by negative? Positive. And 42 divided by 3? 14. Hey, that matches perfectly. Good job. Okay. Good so far? Okay, last one. All right, number 1 is, we have 14 minus 2 times the quantity x plus 8 equals 5x minus the quantity 3x minus 34. And what's our reason? Given, always. All right. Now, what's the first thing or next thing you're going to do? Distribute. What are we distributing here? All right, we're going to distribute a negative 2 and the evil invisible negative 1. I like that. All right, and so that is a negative 1 that we want to distribute very, very carefully. All right, so now what is our result when we distribute? 14 minus 2x minus 16. Negative 2 times positive 8 is a minus 16 equals, and we have a 5x, and then? Minus 3x, and then a positive 34. Negative 1 times negative 34 is positive 34. Okay, and then what do you want to do next? Combine like terms? Yeah, we definitely can do some combine like terms or some simplify. C-O-M-B-I-N-E. Combine like terms. If you're lazy, you can just write simplify. Either one is good. So let's see. I have a couple of like terms. So like the 14 and the negative 16, that would give me negative 2 and the minus 2x. And then on the right-hand side, I have a 5x and a negative 3x, which gives me 2x and a positive 34. So we're just combining like terms, just simplifying, cleaning things up a little bit. All right, and then what do you want to do next? Addition? Do you want to add the 2, or do you want to? Okay, great. So we can do that. We're going to use the addition property of equality by adding the 2 to the 34. Very good. Are everybody's proofs going to be the same? No. Is that okay? Yeah, it is. We should all arrive at the same conclusion, but we might do things in a different order, which is totally fine. So positive 2, negative 2 go away, leaving me with the negative 2x is equal to, over here I have 2x, and 34 plus 2 is 36. So there's my result then. All right, what's the next thing you want to do? Subtraction property of equality. So you're going to subtract the 2x from both sides. That's a good plan. All right. So negative 2x and another negative 2x gives us how many negatives? Negative 4x. And then we're just left with the 36. All right. And then what's the last thing you're going to do? Division property. Will you please make sure when you're writing out your reasons that I can tell the difference clearly between your plus sign and your division? You can see how those could get messy a little bit, but make sure that I can read it well. All right, last step, if we divide by negative 4, we're going to get a negative 9. And hey, it exactly matches our proof statement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for me? Good. Fantastic. I'm going to turn back, boys. because you were gone, we'll turn back to this page right here. So you can see all them things there. All right, fantastic.